Death is a funny word in comics, as it usually just means I'll be back in a few months. The episode begins with a group of supervillains being extremely melodramatic.
Toyman.
Livewire.
Weather Wizard. Kalibak.
Metallo. Speak the word and seal the pact.
The group all have a grudge against Superman and set out to do in the Man of Steel once and for all. The group attempts to bait Superman into a fight, but instead gets the rest of the League coming down on them hard. Though Toyman does his best to fight back by revealing his secret weapon. Superman finally does make his appearance and things seem to be going well for the heroes, until Toyman fires at Batman and Wonder Woman, who are momentarily distracted. Superman jumps in the way and...
Superman, go bye-bye!
Now those with a solid knowledge of DC Comics know how this is likely to go, but here, as it should be, it's played straight. Wonder Woman almost beats Toyman to death for his murder of Superman, and as we continue we see that everyone is mourning the loss. Well, except one person, however.
What is it, Alfred?
I'm afraid it's time, Master Bruce.
I'm not going to the funeral.
Why?
Because he's not dead.
The funeral is held with many a cast of characters making cameos who wouldn't normally show up within the standard Justice League setup.
I hate you! I hate you!
Believe it or not, I'm going to miss him too.
Back on the Watchtower, in a slightly less somber moment with the League, the idea of a new addition to the League is put forth. However, it's interrupted by the arrival of Lobo.
What's with all the long faces, Justice Dweeb?
Being crass, rude, and generally disrespectful, Lobo auditions for the role in his own special way, by picking a fight with the League. The fight is similarly interrupted by a more pressing matter. Villains have taken to the streets of Metropolis to celebrate Superman's death in their own way. The League brings Lobo along out of pure necessity. Meanwhile, Batman has a moment of reflection at Superman's grave as he wonders if Clark might truly be dead.
I've got some things to say. I should have said them when you were here, but despite our differences, I have nothing but respect for you. I hope you know that.
However, the sounds of Metropolis in trouble soon draws Batman's attention.
What did you always call it, Clark? The never-ending battle?
The League is able to beat down and subdue all the villains one by one, but Lobo's constant commentary has left them all in a rather crushed mood, in that they may truly be without Superman forever. However, before the first episode ends, we see Superman is alive, but somewhere else entirely. Now I bring up the first episode ending because the entire second episode is all Superman. Starting out Superman's journey home, he awakens and quickly assesses the situation, realizing that he has no powers and that his communicator isn't working, so he'll have to go it alone. Proving that maybe the Boy Scout nickname has quite a bit of truth to it, Superman gathers up supplies and siphons gas into a car, giving him food and transportation to get him across this barren planet. During one night of travelling, Superman is accosted by wolves. To provide himself a little more protection, Superman crafts a crude sword just in case. Which makes me wonder what they're teaching the Boy Scouts at this point, but hey, it's useful. On the road again, the car finally runs out of gas and Superman is accosted by the same pack of wolves from before, only to turn the leader into a rather fancy looking cape for himself. This also makes the pack loyal to Superman, who uses them as sled dogs to continue on his journey. Superman finally reaches the ruins of a city, and not just that, but he finds the Watchtower, now grounded but still slightly functional. Wondering what has happened, Superman gets his answer from an unlikely source.
They died, Superman. Thousands of years ago.
Savage explains that it was his fault that the world has become like it is. Only a few months after Superman's death, Savage built a machine giving him control of gravity, and ended up killing the Justice League.
They put up quite a fight. Green Lantern was the most difficult. I killed him right here. No, it was over there.
However, his powers also turned on the world at large and devastated not just Earth, but the solar system itself. Superman looks to beat Savage into a fine pulp, but he admits he's reformed. With thousands of years on hand, Savage has built and created many things, including a spaceship, but has chosen to keep in exile on Earth. During a night at Casa de Savage, Superman stumbles upon a time machine, wanting to know why Savage has not finished it.
This design doesn't allow me to travel back to any time where I already exist.
Yeah, but I'm already dead.
The pair work at finishing the machine, but one problem comes up. The power source for it was stolen ages ago by a race of giant bugs. The pair work their way into the home of the bugs and find the generator. However, Superman falls and it seems like all hope is lost. However, and yet this is still more subtle than Man of Steel's symbolism. Being a miniature sun, the generator gives Superman back his powers, allowing for the pair to leave safely. Back at the portal, Savage gives Superman the needed information to stop his younger self, and the two leave on good terms. Superman appears just in time to save Batman from being taken out by Deadshot and orders Lobo off of Earth. Whilst the others want answers, Superman tells them they have something important to do. Back in the future with Savage, he at first seems to fear Superman has failed, but as the repaired timeline merges with his own, he knows he has succeeded, fading away as his timeline disappears from existence.
Thank you, my friend.
Ending the episode. Okay, so this episode has a few flaws in my eyes. Its reverence in Superman's death is played out perfectly, with even Lex Luthor being at least a little saddened by the news. And the fact they use an entire episode to cover his return and give one major villain for the series a redemption is also perfectly done. However, I feel there's two little mistakes made where they added something that wasn't needed as much. The first is the ending shot of Superman in the first episode. Instead of showing that, they could have had the Deadshot moment and not show who stopped the missile, but have everyone be surprised. Then followed up on the next episode, you have Superman alive and well, eventually getting to the exact same point, appearing just in time to save Batman. It seems like a minor issue, but when you spent the whole of the episode going, yes, he's dead, it's a little too quick to show that he's fine at the very end. Let us think that he's truly gone, have the audience believe what the characters do, and it'll be more impactful. The other part that I have an issue with is Batman's researching. Not that it isn't perfectly how Batman would react in the situation, but if they hadn't shown that, then Batman's line at the end about him not believing Superman was dead would then be a question of if he's lying or not, as we saw him at the gravesite of Superman. Either way it would work, but it feels like if you want to show the softer side to Batman, you need to have it appear to affect him. Not just have him suspect that Superman is still alive, then question if he's not and flip back again at the end. This episode is one of the best for the series in what it does, and hereafter we'll find out what beat it to the top 10 spot, as this episode ends up at number 11. Hey people, and thanks for watching this video. If you want to see the next one of these a full day before anybody else, you can do that by supporting me on my Patreon page. However, if you're watching this on my Patreon page, then thanks for your support.